Brownie, you must be rapt. That was a very dominant effort, particularly in the midfield.
Yeah, I thought our big boys did a great job there. Sort of Lodgy's best game since he's been at the club. He certainly delivered on what he sort of spoke about during the week. We certainly scaled our game back a little bit, so we didn't come here and expect to play our the greatest brand of footy as far as entertaining. We scored a couple of nice tries, but we certainly scaled our game back, and we've got all of our halves and hookers and fullback have never played together before, so that's obviously a bit of a new one for us. So to defend like we did, they've got some extremely gifted players that are very dangerous, and I thought our cage D was very, very good, as it was last week as well, so they got one try from a kick. So we certainly just scaled back, toughed it out and defended well, and I thought we got a well-earned victory.
Do you think that simplicity in a way helped you, Brownie, that you cut out some of the potential discipline if you're trying to shift the ball?
Without a doubt, Pete, for us, we're at it this minute today. Do we need to play more footy? Certainly do, You can't just rely on big blokes to bash it up the middle all the time. We certainly need to play a little bit more, but we obviously grinded out a very tough one against the Tigers, but we had a lot of issues which we'd had to start the year with, some error type of things when we were just at the wrong time. We weren't playing footy at the right time, so we scaled it back, and now we definitely did better than last week, and next week we'd hope to improve a little bit again.
Is it about adding just layers as you go, Nathan, like in terms of...
Well, for us, it's we're very, I suppose, especially with the, didn't sort of realise until we sort of named our team that all those blokes had never played together, so there's certainly a fair bit of work to be done for us, but if we can keep defending well, like we did in the last couple of weeks, and we can get enough points, then we can keep working hard trying to defend our way to victory while we build our attack, I suppose.
Do you think Lodgy was fired up against his former club, Brownie? Was that
I'm not sure if it was because of his former club, Pete. I just think he's obviously he's an experienced player. We do have we've got a sort of a fair number of youthful players in our side. So he's an experienced player, him and Adnan, and I just think he wanted to make a point of putting in a good, solid performance. Last week, both the big fellas probably had a couple of errors in their game, which they probably would have had their time again, wouldn't have had, but I didn't need to talk to them about it because they addressed it themselves. So they addressed it themselves, and I thought they both started the game with real purpose for us and finished the game with real purpose for us. So it was a good thing from that point of view. And so I don't think it had anything to do with that Lodgy was playing the Broncos. I think he's obviously forever grateful, that Wayne and the Bronx and Redcliffe all introduced him back into the game, So I don't think he has any animosity towards the Bronx or any extra motivation to play well. I think he just wanted to play well because he knows that's what he needs to do for us and his job.
And the second half, felt like you guys were really starting to win a lot of the contacts and the collisions and just getting that momentum. Did you feel like you were starting to get a bit of a stranglehold on the game at that point?
Yeah, definitely. It was that's a credit to the halves, putting the ball in the right places on the kicks, and it's a lot easier to defend coming off the sideline rather than they got some dangerous outside backs there, Cobbo, Katani Staggs, Desi New. If you put the ball in the middle of the field, it's going to be a lot harder rather than putting it in the corner. So I feel like Chanel, Walshy, and Shawnee, they put the ball in the perfect spot to help us win our collisions.
Brownie, how important is Reece Walsh to this team? Like, he just loves being on the ball, doesn't he? And he's a rare talent when he's on.
Yeah,
it must be a dream to coach someone like.
Yeah, he's just born with gifts that you don't coach people. He's got wonderful speed. He's got great anticipation, and he's got an ability to find the ball at the right times. We've got to get better at getting him the ball in some better situations, and Reece can help himself a little bit there too. But we've been really happy with the fact that he's now working much harder off the ball the last 2 weeks with his defensive part of his game, because Reece made State of Origin last year just simply and purely based on talent, not on working hard and training hard, because he's won pre-season with the Bronx. He had the surgery on his calf, so he hadn't had one. He hadn't had one with us, So to actually see him doing those parts of his game, his offence will definitely come because it's so natural for him. But that's what we're really happy with Reece for.
I think it feels like even after the first couple of rounds, the gap between the top and the bottom was very big last year. Feels like it is compressed a lot.
There's no doubt that's closer,
Where do you guys fit into all that, do you think?
Well, look, we're certainly better than we were last year. Are we playing well enough at the moment in some offensive parts of our game and defensive parts of our game? We've got to get better, but I think you summed it up pretty well. A lot of the teams that finished, or all the teams that finished down the bottom, have either proved, sheerly on buying some really good players, or young. In our case, we sort of more went down the path of more of our own players, obviously improving more of our younger ones, and we feel they're certainly growing. And obviously Sean was the one key signing for us in that area of experience and in a key position, So, and Sean's, he's obviously got hurt week 1, so he's just got through his first proper game, But I think you're definitely spot on. The bottom part of the competition, I think, is definitely far stronger than it was last year. Where's the gap? It's probably too early to tell. You'll know in probably 10, 12 weeks' time, because at the end of the day, those good sides, they know how to keep going and going and going, and that's something that all the rest of us that haven't been up there for a long time need to be good at. It's 5 or 6 weeks, there's can be a flash in the pan, but that 10, 12 week mark, you'll get a good idea of how much better some of the bottom sides are, because that's when the comp really starts to get tough, the grind and week in, week out.
There was a bit of criticism, Brownie, about the tackle on Carrigan that left him with a knee injury. How did you see that tackle?
Look, honestly, because of where we are and don't really get a good look at the big screen, so I've actually got no idea. We'll cross our fingers it's okay, but I haven't actually seen it. They should be careful of criticising. They had a few things themselves they did, didn't they? Were a bit out of textbook, and I won't be getting into any slinger match or having a go at anyone. It was a hard game. A few blokes might have got a few things wrong, but I don't think people were going out there deliberately to get it wrong.
How good was it to have Sean back? I know the crowd was very pleased to see him. It was a lovely hero's welcome as he walked across to the Des Webb stand.
Yeah, well, he's obviously a very experienced player in a position they're hard to find those players. We're probably lucky in a way that Sean is from the Warriors and wanted to come home, because when they come on the market, those type of blokes with that skill and experience, it's certainly hard for a club trying to go up the ladder to attract those players to your club. It's not easy, so to get Sean, obviously we'd like to think from this week to next week his game will grow and continue to grow, because he's certainly got a very, very good skill set to play the position he plays with the experience he's gained over the years.
And how good was the atmosphere today?
Oh, it was brilliant, It was sort of really, today was, probably the nearest thing to a home game this club's had for nearly 3 years. We actually train here every day. We sit in this room every day. A lot of the blokes live around the corner. We haven't experienced that as a football club for nearly 3 years, so it's the nearest thing to a home ground we got, and to come here and get a nice sort of tough victory. Next Friday we'll be back here again, and we need to make sure that this is our home until we do get back to Mount Smart.
Just a quick one, I guess, for both of you. How big is the reintroduction of that penalty in your 40 metres made? It feels like it's been a big factor. It feels like it's been a big factor in evening it up, just to be able to get off your line and attack from midfield rather than your own line. Is that what you'll read? Is it out there?
It's definitely a lot easier. A lot of teams sort of exploited that rule where they can just get their breath back, and it doesn't really matter because you're on your 10, you don't get any advantage from it. So I think it's definitely making teams think twice about holding people down and sort of coming back to the excitement to the game. Last year was a bit, just whoever was the fittest team sort of won, and now you get the actual guys that have a bit of raw talent and skill come back in the game and show what they're really worth.
Thanks, boys.